Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Holt from Exodus and formerly from Slayer, and you're listening to The Razor's Edge.
Hello, everyone. It's Jamie from the Razor's Edge Rocks, and we are joined by a man from the home of metal, Birmingham, like myself, here to talk all about their brand new and fifth studio album, Rise to Power, available February 3rd. It's Karl from Memoriam.
Good evening. How you doing, Joe, mate? You all right, mate?
I'm very well. How are you, my friend?
It is good to speak to a fellow Brummie.
Oh, no. See? Home of metal. Got a brand new metal album coming out.
We are in the metal metropolis.
we
call it.
We always like to start off these things with a hard-hitting question, a question we like to ask people, especially in the world of music and performance. How was your pandemic season, I suppose we call it? I know we're pretty much out of it now, but it's still sort of there.
Yeah, it was a bit of an experience all around, really, wasn't it? Yeah, everything was bumbling along quite nicely. Very busy, doing lots of gigs, and all of a sudden, the whole rug got pulled out from under all of our feet, didn't it? Yeah, so we were all kind of left with twiddling our thumbs, wondering what we're supposed to be doing with ourselves. And yeah, as most musicians in the world conjure up. That's what I did there. New music, if you found that a lot of everyone turned to the studio and writing, because that's all we could do. We couldn't do gigs, so everyone kind of like turned their hands to writing albums. Virtually every musician on the planet, I think. As a result of that, post-pandemic, there was a whole plethora of musical outputs. An outpouring of creativity, which was on a phenomenal global scale. But yeah, I mean, the pandemic in itself, I think it gave everyone a chance, a bit of a pause in life. Yeah, everyone kind of like, you could reflect on potentially the things that are most important, family, friends, and concentrate on those things. From my perspective, it was quite hard work. I work my normal job. I work from home anyhow, so it didn't have any impact on that. In fact, if anything, I was busier at work than I was ever before, because everyone else is at home with nothing to do. So as a result, what I do is I do startup loans, business startup loans. Everyone decided they want to start their own business, and it was ridiculous. So I was incredibly busy with work. Also, I had the added bonus of having two young children off school and trying to attempt to homeschool them, which I just gave up after 2 weeks and let them play on the Xbox. For 6 months. It's good learning, good parenting, I think.
Just play Minecraft to learn all about geography. It's fine.
Absolutely, yeah. Learn how to press numbers and things like that. Yeah, create something on Minecraft. I actually got quite good at Minecraft. But it makes you focus on the things that are important. And musically wise, it gave us the opportunity. Before then, we'd been writing at a phenomenal pace. Started and we wrote 3 albums in 3 years. That's really what we set out to do. Was to create that kind of like musical output, like what we did when we first started out in bands in the late 80s. When bands did put out an album every year, and we tried to recreate that, and that was all going along at a fine pace, 1 album a year up to album number 3. Then, as I say, the pandemic came along, which stopped us in our tracks, in our ability to carry on that album every year kind of like structure. But it was good. It kind of worked out better for us, really. It gave us that little bit of extra time, that extra 6 months. In fact, it took us 18 months as opposed to a year to put another album out. But that extra 6 months really played into our hands, because it gave us a little bit extra time to work on the pre-production side of things. It gave us a bit more time to structure the songs and make them stronger. And from my perspective, as a lyricist, it was really good, because it gave me time to write the lyrics, rewrite the lyrics, demo the lyrics. Now, from my experience of doing this for 30 years, I've never had the chance to demo lyrics before I went in the studio. It was pretty much put them in your head, write them down, go in the studio, do them. And then when you get in the studio and try and do them, you find out that what you've got in your head doesn't actually work. Or the words just don't fit right, or they don't sound right. So you spend half your time in the studio rewriting the lyrics and trying to restructure the words so they fit properly. But this time around, with album number 5, album number 4, to the end. Doing the demoing was a real big push forward for me, experience-wise, because I could learn. I learned exactly what the words were going to be. The words were right. The words fitted. The structures worked. They were fitted. So when we did finally go into the studio, the studios, Mr. Russ Russell, everything was in place. All I had to do was concentrate 100% on just delivering what I'd done. And so then the focus was totally on delivery rather than trying to structure them and make them work. So that was a massive progression from me, from my perspective, and something we've kind of took on board, and we've applied that now to the new album, Rise to Power, because it has a big, massive, positive impact. Because not only do I know what I'm doing, the rest of the band get to hear what the vocals are going to be before they record, so they can adjust and they're playing. The drummer can accentuate some of the lyrics with his drum patterns and things like that. So it works really, really well. So we actually learned something positive from the whole impact of COVID for the band. But also, I think it gave us that stepping back, kind of gave us an opportunity to engage with people a bit differently. I think social media was a very huge kind of positive impact through that. It kept everyone kind of communicated and communities engaged with one another, and so that support networks were really good. And everyone really supported us really a lot throughout the whole COVID period. Everyone, continually contacting us and supporting what we were doing, buying our merchandise, which was key to keep us going. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we're very thankful for that, and we've learned from that experience. And coming out of it was a beautiful experience. I think our first gig after COVID was Bloodstock, and playing that was just. Yeah, I mean, and that was an incredible experience. You could feel the sheer joy of people being able to go out and do the thing they love doing, and engage and go to gigs, and kind of like the sheer joy of that experience was you could feel it. It was a special weekend that was, and we felt it ever since. I think people are generally a bit more aware and appreciative of going to shows and doing the things that they missed out on doing for 18 months or so, and I think in that respect it's had a positive. Okay, millions of people might have died across the planet, but apart from that, it's had quite a positive effect on people's mindsets, I think. So it's not all bad. It's not all bad.
No, I agree. We've spoken to quite a few people who they say, I know COVID was horrible, it caused a lot of things, but they managed to turn it into a positive. They've learned new skills. They've brought themselves close with people. It's good to see positives coming out of this negative, because there was a lot of negativity in the media.
There was a lot, and it was full. The world was full of it. Yeah, but kind of, it is. We all drew into ourselves. It's a very isolated experience, but we shared it. Kind of like in many respects through social media and platforms like that, which kind of helped us engage with the world around us, and just getting out, being able to get out there and do shows again and do the thing that I really enjoy doing, like playing live music, was a sheer joy. So we appreciated being able to do it as well, and not only did we appreciate it, we could feel that kind of like that feedback off the crowd as well. So it's been good, but it's rather a crowded environment out there in the world. In fact, I say everyone recorded albums and released them at the same time, and as a result, everyone is now touring these albums exactly the same time. So it's like there's almost like from having no gigs in your local town in a month. There's now 2 or 3 every night. It's difficult in that respect. It is quite difficult, and we did have to fulfil all our postponed contractual obligations last year. So we were doing a lot of shows last year that we kind of were postponed from COVID. And obviously, we were doing them at the same fee as they were to help out the promoters, but everything else had gone up. Flights had gone up considerably. Accommodate, all the other extra costs had gone up, whereas the gig fees had kind of stayed the same. So it was quite a challenge, and we were quite busy last year as well. So I think this year we kind of I'm going to try and rein it back a bit and kind of like find some balance in that crowded environment that is out there.
So we were talking a minute ago about your songwriting and being a lyricist. Where do you get inspiration for your lyrics? Is it from the world of imagination? Is it personal to you, or something completely different?
Yeah, good question. I generally tend to draw my lyrical themes from the world around us. That's really, I've got three main themes that I generally tend to write about. The obvious one, which is what I've always written about, is that eternal subject of war. That is a constant. In fact, in my previous band, you may well know that was the only thing that we ever wrote about, which was great, but a little bit restrictive. So with Memoriam, I have taken on this fantastic opportunity to write about some other things, So as I've got older, and I am getting a bit older, I do like to write songs that are about what life and experience. So you'll find a lot of the songs that the lyrics I write about these days are about, the joy, the sorrow, the grief, the happiness, the ongoing struggle of everyday life. Those experiences, and I think those for me are the lyrics that they have some resonance with people. Because we've all been through experiences. You've all been through sorrow and loss and joy and grief and things like that. As you get older, it happens a lot more often. But that's life, so I enjoy those kind of lyrical themes that I write about and draw from. Don't think I'd be able to write songs like that 20 or 30 years ago. Now I say in the autumn years, I can draw from those experiences of life in general, and I enjoy getting them into the lyrical structures of the songs that I write. Also, you may notice with Memoriam, I do tend to have this ability, or this. I do like to write songs that have got a kind of political, social commentary involved in them. So I'm prepared at this point in my life to stand on my soapbox and pontificate about things that I think are important to make comments about in life. And that's really heavily influenced by the world around us. I draw reference from social and cultural, political, environmental issues that are occurring at specific points in time. So each album I write is almost a kind of document of that specific point in time in many respects. So maybe, for example, the last album was heavily influenced by the global rise of nationalism, right-wing extremism, that kind of like fascist ideology. So there's a lot of political content about, Antifa, Black Lives Matters, anti-fascist kind of like commentary was involved in that one. Moving to where we are now in 2022, 23, when it was written, I've drawn reference very much so from global issues which are occurring in the planet right now, right here on our doorstep, which is the war in Ukraine. So yes. Ironically, after writing lyrics about war for the past 30 years, this album features quite heavily on lyrics about war. Quite mindful in the past to kind of try and move away from that, so not much and balance it out. But with this album, it feels like that because it is quite social, it is quite cultural, it is quite a political issue. It's kind of merged into one, and it feels that at this point in time that the lyrics that I'm writing about war have got more relevance now than they ever have done in the past, because it's happening, it's on our doorstep, it's there, it's in the media, it's in our faces, it's occurring, and it's frightening. It's kind of the neo-fascist nationalism of the Russian state imposing their will upon a sovereign state of Europe is frightening, and the impact it has on normal everyday human beings, and the mass human loss and suffering from all sides. It's horrible to see, but particularly as a parent, it really moves me when I see young children being affected by it, and families having to relocate to other parts of the world as a result of that. And so that has formulated quite a large inspiration for the lyrics on this here new album, Rise to Power.
As you've just mentioned, Rise to Power, we should talk about it. Album's out in 2 days as we do this recording. I bet you can't wait for people to actually get their ears on it now.
I am. It's been like, it's like my little secret baby, which we've had in kind of wrapped up in cotton for the past 6 months since we wrote it, and we've been waiting, and now it's kind of like it's almost about to be unleashed upon the world as we speak. I'm starting to get all the social media feeds through people receiving their pre-orders. So getting lots of feedback. Really, really positive, glowing reports, which is great. It's really kind of like quite life affirming in many respects. It's great the way this album is being received. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. Finally being released, I say in 2 days' time, and the whole world getting to hear the album as it should be in its entirety. People have heard little snippets here. They've heard the 2 songs that were released as video singles. All Is Lost, award-winning feature full-length video, and the lyric video for Total War. They've heard that, and I think that gives you a little taste of the album. But there's, from my perspective, the other songs on the album, which you haven't heard yet, or a lot of people haven't heard yet, are a lot stronger. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of reaction the album in its entirety is going to receive from the people that matter, the people that buy it, the people that enjoy it. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. So yeah, really, really looking forward to that with great anticipation.
I was just about to ask, like, obviously, other than the 2 singles that have been released now, is there any songs on the album that you're just like, I could not wait for people to hear this? I'm so proud of the song.
Yes. Obviously, I mean, it's really hard to pick out songs that because there's maybe certain sections of each song that are something that means something special to me in particular. I'd point out there's one that I Am the Enemy, which has got all this. It formulates the intro to the album, where we've got all these. We put it out to all our family and friends, the extended network. As say, record yourself doing "I Am the Enemy," and we just multi-layered about 100 people. My children are on there, my partner's on there, my former friends are on there. It's quite nice, so you can sometimes hear the voice. We multi-layered all these 100 voices to formulate the intro. But then awesome. That is track number 3 on the album, and it's why I like that particular song is because I've got to use my poem that I always use, not my poem, Lawrence Bignon's poem for The Fallen, which is something I do on every album. I always nick a verse out of that poem, that infamous poem, "They shall grow not old as we shall live grow old," that one. Nick a verse out of that, and I insert it into one of the songs on the album. Done it for every album so far. I've only got 1 verse left of the poem left. I backed myself into a corner. It's quite a difficult one to fit in as well. That will feature somewhere on album number 6.
So either you loop again, or you have to sit there and pick another poem.
I'm going to have to pick up the phone. I'm going to have to pick up the phone. He's dead now, so he can't write another one. But yeah, so I managed to wedge in this epic poem into the start of that song, and it really fits well. So I'm quite happy with that. So that's "I Am the Enemy." I particularly like the last track, "This Pain," which is a massive epic opus, which starts with that classical guitar intro, which is something very different, something we haven't done before as well. And that's that's a great song about hope and kind of rising through the suffering and pain of our everyday lives, as a lot of the songs are about. And I suppose while I'm talking about these songs, the first one, the one about the Holocaust, 6 Million Dead, that for me is a real strong song and something that I've always I've attempted to write that song for the past 15, 20 years. Never, ever, always started and gave up because it could never really give the song the emotive gravitas that it deserved. But that's quite good, isn't it?
That was good. I like that. Getting some great words out here.
Next album, sort that. So this time around, I heard that riff that Scott, it's got a very melancholic kind of riff, and I managed to struck some words that had some meaning. I drew reference directly from documentaries I was watching. I wrote it around about this time last year. because we got the Holocaust Memorial Day, which is on or around 23rd, 26th of January. So there's a lot of documentaries of people that experienced it, like real life experiences, from their own mouths. And so I drew a lot of the lyrics directly for referencing those. And that's what gave it the meaning and the gravitas, because it was real words from real people. And yeah, I'm particularly proud of that one, and I'm very proud that it's the opening track to the album as well. So yeah, there's lots of stuff going on this album, which I'm sure people will like in many different ways.
I can imagine quite a few people, lyricists, that have these ideas like, I'm going to write a song about this, start it, go, right, I'm going to put that in the back pocket, I can't think of anything.
That is exactly what happened with that one completely. It's something that's been on the back burner. And every album comes along, I think, right, this is the time, I'm going to write it. So sit down, write some words. Shit. That doesn't work. That just sounds really, really patronising or just cheesy. But yeah, this time round, it all clicked, and so I've managed to tick that one off my bucket list of achievements, and I can move forward quite nicely. So yeah, I'm very pleased, relieved, and proud of that one.
Amazing. Are you planning to tour the album? I know there's no dates announced as of yet, at least according to your website. But is there a plan to tour?
Not really. We're not really a touring band. Yeah, so we've all got jobs. I've got kids. My mum's got dementia, so we've all got responsibilities that are outside of this band. So we pretty much do Memoriam on our own terms. We are what you could say we are proud weekend warriors. We're never going to be a band that's going to jump on a tour bus and do an extended 40 date tour of a specific territory. That holds no sense of glory for me. I've done it in the past; it was great, but at this point in my life, I think if I tried to do that now, it would seriously kill me. I haven't got the energy for it anymore. But yeah, we pretty much do it on our own terms. Yeah, and saying that, we do shows virtually every other weekend. Throughout the year, we have done in the past. This year, I think we're going to rein it in a bit. We're going to be a little bit more limited in what we do, and a bit more selective in what we choose to do. We have got one gig lined up in Birmingham in April the 5th, down at the Castle and Falcon, the Music for Noise Destruction, which we are headlining. We're looking forward to that. And we've got several other shows lined up, following it up throughout the year. So yeah, we're going to be busy, but maybe not as busy as we were previously, because we are also in the process of writing album number 6. So
you just don't stop, do you?
In fact, it's almost done. Musically, I haven't started yet, with the vocals and lyrics yet. But we went over to Riff Central Studio last weekend to go through Scott's $1 Million Riff Vault and select the songs which are going to be featured on album number 6. Yeah, there's at least 10 songs on there that we feel are strong enough to work with to create album number 6. So yeah, we intend to potentially go in the studio towards the end of this year and record that with a potential release date of sometime the following year, 2020. Something like that. Yeah.
Both just went blank on the year then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we continue striving and pushing forward musically because we enjoy doing that. And yeah, we will be doing some shows. Maybe we were so busy last year doing all the shows, and we were finding that a lot of the shows, because of the impact of the amount of shows we're doing, B, Brexit, and the more difficult it is to actually travel internationally, and see the impact of COVID on the travel industry still had its impact. So we were having to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, get to Birmingham Airport 2 or 3 hours earlier than the plane was leaving, catch a plane to a Central European hub, rush through with an hour connecting flight, having to go through passport control again in a big massive queue with the rest of the world instead of European gate, which you get through in 5 minutes. Additional security. And 50% of the time, we could make it as individual passengers, but our equipment never made it. And that just makes it that much more complicated and less enjoyable, the whole experience. So this time around, we're kind of being a little bit more selective what we do, and we're trying to do our travel. We're trying to break it out and maybe travel the night before, so we can make sure we can control the environment a little bit better. So that's the point at where we are at with Memoriam. We've got to enjoy it. That's the bottom line. That's what we do this for. At the end of the day, we do this purely for our own sense of enjoyment. In fact, other people like it. It's quite nice, bit of a bonus. But really, we just do it for ourselves, and because we really enjoy doing it. And so we're trying to retain that kind of sense of enjoyment and joy of doing it. And that's going to work for us, I think, going forward.
Love it. Talking about playing live, though, and with the new album coming out now, are there any particular songs off the album you're really looking forward to playing live?
Yes, there's some particular songs that I really like looking forward to playing live, which we won't be able to do. We have picked up. We have got. That's the one glorious thing about being a four bass. It's easy, quite easier logistically, and dynamically, it sets us aside from what we've done in the past, which we intentionally are a four bass. But it does restrict us with some of the songs that have got multi layers on them from playing them live, which always tend to be my favourite songs. For example, Last Words off the first album. Never been able to play it live. Doesn't work as a four bass. You need more guitars than just one. As My Heart Grows Cold. We tried it once. Doesn't work. Too much space. Needing guitar. This Pain. My favourite track of the album. We ain't going to play that live. Yeah, it's not going to work. But we will be. I mean, this is going to be the eternal struggle, because we've only got like a limited time in which we can play. We've got an hour, usually an hour set is the maximum we play. And the more albums we do, the more difficult it gets to choose what we're going to play and what we're not going to play. Which is a great position to be in, because considering the first album, we only had 6 songs, so we had to throw in some bolt thrower songs just to make the set long enough.
Here's something you may have heard before.
Absolutely, yeah. So now here we are, album number 5, and we're in that glorious position of having to pick and choose what songs we are going to play live. We might, at least 1 or 2 songs of each album. But yeah, so we're gonna that is our next struggle. We're gonna meet up in the rehearsal room, try out the songs, work out what sounds best live, because it's different in the studio to live, and work out which ones sound the best together live, and then we will make our decision as to what songs we will play. But it's more than likely going to be Total War and the title track, Rise to Power. Potentially those 2 will probably feature in our live sets, but we're going to have that happy argument when we meet up next time. That's the next plan.
There's worse reasons to argue with your bandmates, isn't there?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a struggle. Which ones do we lose? That's going to be which songs do we kick out of the set to introduce the new songs?
That's a good point.
Yeah,
put all the names in a hat. Make it easy.
I think we might do. Yeah, we'll have to do that. Yeah, I think we'll just have to just do different songs every night. It means we've got to learn them all.
But no, I was lucky enough to have an early listen to the record. I listened to it early today, ready for this, and it is fantastic. Memoriam fans, you are going to love this album. And if you aren't already a Memoriam fan, you will be once you've listened to this. So go check it out.
Yeah, I think there's lots of things in there, lots of different tones and textures to kind of appeal to a variety of tastes of music. So yeah, I think just widen it out the boundaries of what we do. So I'll just cut you off there. What you were saying?
I was just going to say, the one thing that's thrown me off though is listening to that album earlier, listening to you singing and your vocals, and then talking to you now. You would not think that's the same person.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because like people say, you don't sound anything like the records, but if I did actually talk like I did on the records, that would be fucking scary.
Yeah, just
that would be very weird, and I probably wouldn't get very far. Especially when talking to my people I talk to at work, that would be disastrous.
Probably.
But yeah, people often say to me, "Go, Carl, do your death metal voice? Go on, come on, do your death metal voice." I go, "Am I a performing monkey?" Dance, monkey dance. I don't. Yeah, it comes naturally with the music. Yeah, it's something I can't just do at the drop of a hat. It's got to be in the moment with the music. It's all kind of like a part of that. Yeah, so it's quite an interesting thing. And I suppose if you give me 20 quid, I might do. But yeah, it's a natural. It's got almost like a natural reaction to the music that's surrounding it. Really, it's not something doesn't come. Like that, you know.
No. Karl, this has been so much fun. If I could, I just want to ask you one more question before we go, because when we talk to musicians, I love asking this question. And a man that's been in the music industry for so long, music videos, the making of them, the process of them, love it or hate it?
Well, to be brutally honest, I've only experienced it once ever.
Oh,
yeah, the video, the award-winning video, All Is Lost. It's the first time that I have ever in my whole career created a full-length feature music video, which involved going down to a studio in London and spending 2 days in London, 1 day in the studio, miming, pretending that you are singing in front of the bedroom mirror with a hairbrush. Very weird. It was weird because you had to do all the secrets now. You had to do 3 takes. Did 1 normal take, performing to the camera, and then I did another one which was a bit faster, performing to the camera, and then the other one had lots of smoke and things going on, and I just kind of waved my hair around a lot to get the effects going. And I had this kind of microphone in my hand, which had like it was made like 50s ones, the chrome ones with and it had an LED light in it, so it would reflect through the grills to give that kind of like mysterious effect. But it was made out of plastic. I broke it in about 30 seconds. The whole video sort of holding this plastic thing together to make sure that it didn't break further, which was great. And that was an incredible experience, great fun. And we had actors involved. We involved our crew. So it's got a bit of a family day out. Very weird, getting all the old makeup on and glue and blood and strange. Incredible experience. And then the following day, we spent it. Went down to a little place called Mersey Island, which is down Colchester way. Never been there before. And we spent the day, well, the evening, nighttime, when it had to wait till it went dark, in the middle of a field, very dangerous, setting fire to a wooden throne, which was featured in the video. So we were standing around this wooden throne there was health and safety involved. As one of the crew was throwing petrol at the throne, setting it on fire while we were standing around it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, again, an incredibly surreal experience. And as I say, never done it before in my whole career of being in bands. Never done a proper full-length music video, and it was an incredible experience. Another tick box off the old list of things that we've never done before. It was great because it was directed by a gentleman by the name of Mr. Hal Sinden.
Okay.
And you may recognise the name Sinden. There is a famous Sir Donald Sinden, who is a famous British actor who was in one of my favourite films, The Cruel Sea, Never the Twain as well, a comedy programme with Windsor Davies. So he had that kind of that air of authority, that kind of like, and he had a real clear direction and vision of what he wanted to achieve with the video, which was very different from my interpretation of it, but it worked really well. And just to be involved in that whole creative process and the production side of it was great. Yeah, it was great. Something that I've never experienced before. So yeah, we're going to probably do one of those again, because we enjoyed it, because it was our first time. So that's the long-winded answer to your question. Yes.
But yes.
Yes.
Incredible. Karl, this has been so much fun. Thank you for sitting down and talking to me and all about the new album. As I said before, people, you're going to absolutely love this album. Definitely go check it out. But just before I let you go, plug social medias. Where can people go find you out in the world?
Okay, well, yeah, you can follow us on www.memoriam.uk.com. That is our website for a source of all news and links to our social media websites. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, I'm on Twitter. We also have a big cartel site for our merchandise, which would be very good if you could support us in that way. Yeah, we are very interactive with our friends, family, whatever you want to call yourself, fans. And yeah, get involved, join us, have some fun, come along and see us live. We're going to play in Birmingham, our hometown, in April the 5th. Destruction Festival, I don't know what it's called. And that should be fun down at the Castle and Falcon. Good to see you down there, Jamie. Hopefully.
I was going to say I might try and come down for that. Sounds like a good idea.
Good. And I'd like to just finish off by saying thank you very much for your ongoing, continued support of the band. It is much appreciated.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you keep up to date with future episodes by subscribing to our channels. For more information on this podcast, or for all the latest music news, reviews, interviews and more, head over to our website www.therazorsedge.rocks.